Hello, I'm Mihaela, and in this video I want to talk to you about 2 period products that have absolutely changed my life and have made my period every month a much more hassle-free experience. I have been breastfeeding my daughter since day one. I've slowly been reducing it. We started baby-led weaning. All in all, 1 year before my daughter turned 1-year-old, my period came back. I must say I really enjoyed not having my period for almost 2 years. I'd say that's a good enough reason almost to have another child. I've had my period now 3 times and I've gone back to using a product I used to love before I got pregnant, and I've recently discovered this other product which I want to tell every single woman I know about because it is really, truly life-changing. Alright, let's start talking about the first product, the Moon Cup. I have it here, I'm going to show it to you and also talk to you a little bit about the pros and the cons and how I got on with it. If you don't know, Moon Cup is a soft silicone menstrual cup that you can reuse every time you get your period. When I first started using a menstrual cup, Moon Cup seemed to be the kind of go-to official brand, but nowadays there are so many options on the market to choose from. I remember I was a little bit confused about how to use this product when I first heard about it, and I must admit it did take me a while to get used to it. As you can tell, I'm excited about this product and there are many reasons why I love it, and here are a few. The first one is they can hold a lot more blood than a regular tampon or pad. You only have to empty it twice per day instead of changing your pad or tampon every 3 to 4 hours. They keep the blood in so you don't have contact with it on your skin, causing irritation. There's no plastic waste whatsoever. Once you buy it, that's it. You save a ton of money in the long term. Having said that though, there are also a bunch of downsides to using a Moon Cup, and I'm going to be very honest here with what they are and which I think are some things that might put people off from using it. The first one is that I think it's a bit harder to empty the Moon Cup if you're on the go. So if you're going into a public toilet without access to a sink, that can make things a little bit trickier. Having said that though, you don't have to empty it for about 8 hours. I mentioned this a little bit before, but it does get a while to get used to it, and more specifically, I do think about 2 to 3 periods at least before you feel 100% comfortable with how to put it in and how it feels in your body, and just to get used to the sensation. So while you're getting used to the Moon Cup, there might be some leaks or adjustments that need to be made along the way. The final downside to using a Moon Cup is if you're very, very squeamish about seeing blood. You do have to see the blood pouring out, whether it's in the shower, in the toilet, in the sink. This might not be an option that suits you, but do stick around and watch this video until the end, because this second product that I'm going to mention to you might be a better option for you, and it's again plastic free and leak free. So if I was to talk to a friend who's using a Moon Cup for the first time, here are a few tips that I would suggest when you're using it. I'm going to open it out. So it usually comes in this little cotton pouch. This is what my Moon Cup looks like now. It usually comes with a longer stem here, so I had to cut this to make sure this was the perfect fit for me. You might find that long stem a little bit daunting when you first open it. I usually find this method of inserting it the easiest. First of all, I would wet it. It's much easier to work with it when it is wet. And I like to pinch it in the middle and then hold it like this. So once you have it like this, it is much easier to insert, and then once it's inside, you let go and it pops. Now, once it is inside, pull it by the stem just a little bit to create a seal around it. Now when you remove it, you just have to be gentle and kind of work around it, around the Moon Cup, and then once a little bit of air pops through, then that seal breaks and it's easy to remove, empty, rinse and use again. The biggest piece of advice I have for you if you're starting to use a Moon Cup is to try using it when you're not on your period. So just any regular day, wet it and just practice inserting it and taking it out. One last thing to say about the Moon Cup is it does come in 2 sizes. Size A is for women who have given birth vaginally and who are over 30, and size B is for women who are under 30 who have not given birth vaginally. Overall, the Moon Cup experience for me has been very positive. It still is a very positive experience, but full transparency, I felt like I needed more protection. To do that, I would use these thin pads. I don't really like using those small thin pads. I think they're very wasteful, not very comfortable either. And this is where the second product comes in. So I first found out about this product on the Fruits of Motherhood Instagram page. The product I will tell you about is called period pants. Not just any period pants. I'm talking overnight maternity, high absorbent, high rise period pant. This is amazing. I do have 3 pairs of one brand called Bambody and 3 pairs of another brand called Innersy, which I have recently bought. I haven't opened yet. I'm going to open it with you. Let's take a step back. What is a period pant? A period pant looks like any normal pair of underwear. The difference is that in the middle, it has here, you can't see it, 4 layers of very thin, highly absorbent bamboo. It has a built-in pad. That's the best way to describe it. These in particular, and in general, the reason I prefer the highest absorbency possible and the high rise fit is that I think they're very, very comfortable. Now, the reason I think they're called maternity wear, you might not be aware of this, but usually after you give birth, you do bleed quite a bit. So it's kind of like having a period, except it's not your period, it's actual bleeding. Usually in that period after giving birth at hospital, they give you these humongous pads, long from top all the way to the back. The maternity underwear, if I'd known about these, I would have probably gotten these. The first one is completely on its own. Fruits of Motherhood talked about it. She has an entire Instagram highlight called Bloody Undies. I promise you, every single question under the sun that you have about these underwear will have been answered by her. I did test it out and used it for 8 straight hours on a first day of my period when my flow was, medium to heavy, I would say. And these held up perfectly fine. I was very surprised at how comfortable they were. No odor, no discomfort. It felt dry. On one occasion, I had to wipe the underwear a little bit because there was a blood clot on the surface of the underwear. But otherwise, the blood literally disappeared into the underwear, and it's amazing. These bamboo fibers can be extremely absorbent. I know this because I use reusable cloth nappies with my daughter. Bamboo inserts are usually one of the most absorbent inserts that we have. The second way you can use these underwear is in partnership, in combination with the moon cup. If, like me, you want that little bit of extra protection when you're wearing the moon cup, or even if you're wearing a tampon and you want that little bit of protection, which you usually would get from a thin pad, these would be the perfect combination. Or in the last days of your period, when you want that protection but you don't want to use the moon cup or a tampon or anything like that, this provides the perfect level of absorbency. There are varying levels of absorbency with these kinds of underwear. I think they go from kind of low to medium to this is the highest absorbency. I'd just say go for the highest. I mean, why not? They're not thicker than usual. 87% bamboo, 8% cotton, and 5% spandex. Let's open the Innersy ones. I have been saving these to open them on camera, and I'm really curious to see how different they are from the other brand. What we can see here on the inside is basically the pad. Now, the difference between the other ones is there is kind of a slight difference in color. So this would be gray and black, whereas these are from Bambody 100% black, so you don't really see anything. I 100% recommend these Bambody ones. I haven't tried the Innersy ones, but they do come highly recommended, and I'm curious to give it a go. You can't go wrong with just giving yourself a break and trying something that will make your life easier. Beyond these 2 products, I got these underwear on Amazon UK, but I know there's a lot of Romanian mums and women that are following me. Having discussed this with my mom, she actually gave me a link to a Romanian website called Astratex, and they have culottes pentru menstruație. They have that, and they have a heavy flow type of product. I'm gonna put the link down below. Go check it out, get a pair, see how you feel, and then if it works out, you can get more. One last thing to say is that I know that incontinence can be an issue for women. Full transparency here, after I gave birth on a few occasions, I weed myself a little bit. And that's totally normal because your pelvic floor is pretty weak. If you do have incontinence issues and you want an underwear that will make sure you're staying dry and comfortable, these underwear can definitely help with that. Any liquid goes, it doesn't have to be blood. Overall, I am so happy with my combo now with the Moon Cup and the period underwear. I feel that I'm just invincible with these two products. I feel confident, I feel comfortable. Let me know below if you are curious about these products, if you currently use any of them. Was this news to you? Is this as mind-blowing to you as it was for me? Let me know in the comments. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you next week.